For the past few days, I've been roaming around in the state of Maine, and whenever you think of Maine, to me, the two things that I automatically think of are lobsters and lighthouses. Well, today, we are in Portland, and we're getting ready to take a look at the oldest lighthouse in the state of Maine. So what we are looking at here is called the Portland Headlight. Construction began on this lighthouse in 1787 at the direction of George Washington. It was completed in 1791, so this is a really old lighthouse. Like I said, I know it's the oldest lighthouse in Maine. I'm not sure if it's the oldest one in the United States. But man, that thing is cool. I think they initially had funds of $1,500 to establish this lighthouse, and was originally run with, or lit rather, with whale oil. And as you can see, it's still operational today. That is really neat. Here you can see this old foghorn here, overlooking the bay here at Portland. Man, what a view. Now, Washington originally, whenever he commissioned the builders of this lighthouse, you know, it reminded them that the government was poor. So all of the stone that was used to make this lighthouse was quarried locally here and pulled to this site by oxen. And I think the original height was supposed to be 58 feet, but then they got to the top and realized that you couldn't see it from the south, so they added another 20 feet. And then during the Civil War, raids on shipping became pretty common here in this area, so they hiked it up another 20 feet. But wow, for an inland guy like me, this is pretty cool. It's different. So here's something else that's kind of interesting about this lighthouse. The poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow lived here in this area around Portland, and it's thought that he would come and visit this very lighthouse right here, overlook the ocean, listen to the waves crash, and it's believed that he sat right here at this rock and got his inspiration for the poem The Lighthouse. Sail on, ye stately ships, and with your floating bridge the ocean span. Be mine to guard this light from all eclipse, be yours to bring man near unto man. That is something else. Oh, like I've said before, I'm not much of an ocean guy, more of a woods guy, but man, it's hard not to stand here and reflect on what an artist God is. It really is an amazing sight. All right, I've got one more place that I'm wanting to take a look at before we move on. There's some military forts around here that we're going to look at later. But I also read that there's an old abandoned mansion right here on the coast that I'm really wanting to see. Now, in the mid-1800s, there was a guy in the Portland area by the name of John Goddard, who was like really big in the lumber industry. And in 1853, he purchased a hotel that sat on the shores of Cape Elizabeth right here. Was building it up, and on the property decided to build himself an Italian-style mansion. That was completed, I believe, in 1858. And holy smokes, I'm looking at it now, and this place looks like it was something else. Well, here is the Goddard Mansion. This was one of the first like prominent homes along the shores of Cape Elizabeth, and wow, for something in the mid-1800s, that is really something. This is all built out of native stone from here in the Portland area. And Goddard, or the Goddard family, owned this property until 1898, and then it was acquired by the U.S. Army and was used to house the married enlisted men and their families that were stationed at nearby Fort Williams. And then I think the basement ended up getting converted into a non-commissioned officers club. But wow, that place is something. Now, as you can see, the inside of this place has been fenced off, most likely because it's deemed a little bit unsafe on the inside, but we'll get a look and see what we can see. And wow. Yeah, I can see where a brick might fall on somebody's head in there if they weren't too careful. But anyway, you can use your imagination and probably see just how ornate and lavish this mansion must have been in the 1850s. Yeah, this place is really something else. Very cool place. I like visiting these places that are, I don't know, kind of under the radar, that you don't hear about as much. Now, Goddard, from what I understand, served in the Civil War, I believe in the 1st Maine Regiment of Cavalry, but he never saw action. But anyway, as I mentioned, this structure here was later used for officers who were stationed here at Fort Williams, right here on the shores of Cape Elizabeth. So we're going to go and explore some of the structures of the old fort, but that'll be for the next video.